Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdson, World Alternative Media here, and of course we're joined by author and economic analyst here at WAM, John Sneisen, and another terrible idea by government. Who would have thought? Well, it's more environmental groups that are being, subsidized by government entities, etc., and the push for this Agenda 2030 plan at the United Nations, etc. But the article at CBC News says taxing meat could help offset environmental health problems, activists say, and it's a quote-unquote sin tax on eating meat because, it hurts the environment, etc., etc., etc. First of all, taxation is theft. Second of all, if you want to save the environment, environmentalists, how about you start by killing yourself? The biggest polluter of all mankind is government. The very notion of government saving us from a problem that they capitalize on is absurd, especially when these massive companies that are pushing these environmental agendas are polluting like crazy and getting massive subsidies by the government, big monopolies that usually the left hates, but suddenly when it's environmentally friendly advocacy, they want to pump these big monopolies with more money in order to capitalize on the demise of small businesses, the demise of, people, actually the middle class, for example, and it's just absolutely insane. As this kind of just goes into, the steep climb in global meat consumption has environmental interest groups debating a sin tax on animal products. Meat consumption grew by more than 5 times between 1992 and 2016 and has contributed to greenhouse gas emissions, global obesity, rising rates of diabetes and cancer, soil degradation and deforestation, according to the Farm Animal Investment Risk and Return Initiative. Now, it's also important to mention that government always seems to think that they can, put themselves to the forefront of a conversation by telling people how to take care of themselves, what things they can eat, what things they should drink, not being fat, etc. Like it's not their own responsibility. And the same thing goes for about every kind of thing you could think of within the realm of governmental regulation and oppression, coercion. Like, for example, online poker in the United States. You might lose money, so you're not allowed to make money playing online poker. Well, why is this the decision of the state? The fact that people agree with a giant mafia cartel pointing guns at people, telling them what they can and cannot do is ridiculous. We can go into veganism. We can go into vegetarianism. I understand I might be on the wrong side of that. I've been a vegetarian in the past. That's a whole other conversation. But government enforcing their will on people, telling people that they cannot, pay for meat without having to be taxed up the butt, alongside the carbon tax, alongside green eco taxes. Then they have income taxes, business taxes, capital gains taxes, property taxes, sales taxes, PST, GST. It just gets so insane. John, when will this end?
It won't end until we get rid of the government. That's the
exactly.
number one thing. Now, of course, there's a solution to this taxation of the whole meat industry. It's going organic. Start, helping the organic farmers. I usually just eat organic meat. I never touch that garbage that they feed you, what they're talking about that they want to tax.
But that comes down to individual demand, John. And what's funny is that all these hazardous environmental production companies, these companies that are pushing these really unhealthy meats, are being subsidized or regulated into prosperity by the government.
Yeah, exactly. No, I remember I was up at the first Freedom Force event up in Paso Robles, meeting Deirdre Griffin for the first time, and I drove back home. I drove through one of those factory farms.
Yeah.
Holy smokes, is it ever disgusting? Meanwhile, I live right by a cattle farm that's organic meat, and it's night and day. Like it's the cows are having a good time, walking around in their pack. They're not like stowed inside. Whatever. Like in these pens. It's very simple. It's just education and starting to put out the demand for good meat that are not full of pharmaceuticals and.
You mean the pharmaceutical companies that the government monopolizes and profits
yeah,
off
of course. No, this is just like another one of those stupid, moronic ideas that comes out of government that we should just tax Norway, just implement a sugar tax.
Well, that's what I wanted to go into, John, quickly, because as it kind of mentions in this article, the British activist group argues meat should join products like tobacco, sugar, and carbon, which are often taxed because they are harmful to people's health and the environment. So again, health. Government is the single biggest murderer of all mankind. Environment. government is the biggest polluter in all mankind. The notion, the mental gymnastics that it takes to believe that the cause of the problems will solve the problems by extorting free people, by extorting those in poverty, by making things more expensive so that, families have an even harder time buying McDonald's for their family, which is like the cheapest thing because it's been monopolized by the state and pushed onto dependent families.
It's cheapest garbage you could find, which is full of shit.
And that's going to go up in price too. It's just so insane.
No, this is just another bad idea from the government, which always have bad ideas. And we're going to see this whole movement of taxation. I'm very happy that, we've seen tax cuts finally in the United States. Tax cuts, yeah. But you got to remember when it comes to the tax cuts, if you don't cut the government at the same time, cut the taxes, it's a stupid idea. You're just keeping on the government. And then, of course, government grows a little bit more and more every year as this tax cut, whimpers out. Mm-hmm. It'll be bigger than ever. So another terrible idea of having all these taxes or even the tax cuts and just increasing the size of government as you cut taxes. Yeah. It's just another flawed government policy. And when it comes to this environmental issues, as I said, organic. Start to educate yourself. And you do not have to force. I worked in the Manitoba Party. I had people there that wanted us to come in and ban, of course, all this factory meat and stuff. No, people need to get educated, and then they will actually buy what is healthy for them. Look at since I came here to Canada, I've been looking at the amount of organic food that you can find at Superstore. It's incredible, how that has increased. Now they have own aisles and own sections, and
Well, that's individual demand, but exactly. I just can't get past how arrogant of these government and government lobby groups to lobby something because they say, well, I don't agree with that person's position. I don't agree with that person's opinion. So therefore we should steal from them. How incredibly arrogant are they that I think I have a good idea, so I'm going to steal from people because my idea is so great and, people won't by individual demand go in that direction. So I'm just going to put a gun to their head and steal their money that they worked hard to earn. It's just so incredibly arrogant. And what? To save people's lives from obesity, which are going to find a way to be anyway because of government monopolies pushing them into cheaper, lesser quality foods. Well, here's a thing that we should think about. These taxes will make people more broke, will lead to more layoffs, as we've seen countless times throughout this year. And on top of that, this is coming from the same people who, in the same sentence as saying they want to save people's lives, talk about how there's more people, there's more food, they got to lower the amount of people on the planet. We need to have some kind of eugenics program.
Yeah, it comes all back to this Agenda 2030, Josh.
Yeah, that's exactly. And it's
and that's where this policy is coming from, this hate of CO2 that is, of course, the methane that comes out of a cow's ass. And that's what they hate. They say that's the major cause of it was global warming, but now it's climate change. They kind of changed that whole agenda.
By the way, it snowed in the Sahara Desert today. Yeah. It's just so insane. I really think that people have to start pushing for individual demand, free market demand, away from this kind of nonsense, which just begets more of this nonsense. It's just the collectivist order trying to say you can't make your own decisions, so therefore we will restrict the market, we'll create these monopolies that create the problem in the first place, and then subsidize them more to create more problems, a problem, reaction, solution, repeat mentality of the Hegelian dialectic.
Yeah, people just need education. People need to start wanting to educate themselves about everything. And that needs to be from the bottom up, as we have private schooling systems that when we get rid of the government, that can, take care and just give people basic educational critical thinking. And then we're done with this whole crap of listening to this bullshit coming out of the government.
Yeah, I have a new idea. How about we tax the government? And by that, I mean give all of the money back to the people, the individuals who work hard for their money and don't need to be dependent like a slave on an animal farm, praising the grass they're eating before they're let off to the slaughter. No pun intended with this individual report. It comes down to the individual, and instead of just constantly, bowing down and, presenting yourself to the biggest molester of all mankind, government, with the chains you revere tied to the bedpost, guys, let's start looking at things from an individual, voluntary level and stop falling for this nonsense. Trudeau is terrible. It's not just Trudeau though. It's not just Obama. It's not just Trump. It's not any of it's this governmental complex, this ideology of subservience to the state and to whatever they think is right for you and to shove down your throat.
Well, the underlying problem here is the monetary system and the government. That's the underlying problem. They don't understand that, so they're just trying to fix the pharmaceutical industry that they're so much against taxing. They're like the pharmaceutical industry.
Yeah, and when you dig down into any of these issues, the end result at the bottom of all of it is always government and monetary system.
Exactly, Josh.
So until next time, thanks for watching, everyone. Let's push against this insanity, this socialist nonsense. Oh my God, it boils my blood. So let's push against this system because we need to have as much momentum as possible towards individual freedom, teamed with individual responsibility. We can't expect the government to save us from ourselves. We should be the change we wish to see in the world and not bow down to an almighty collective cartel we call a state or global governance, etc. It's all insane. People have to snap out of this. Until next time, check the links below. This is Josh Sigurdson and John Sneisen signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth,
be the change.
Like what you see here at WAM? Don't forget to check the links below. GoFundMe, Patreon. We can't do it without you. Any donation is very much appreciated, especially as we are so overwhelmingly demonetized and censored by YouTube as the Anti-Defamation League comes in and flags all of our content as hate speech. You can also find me at Josh Sigurdson at steemit.com. That's steemit.com, the future of social media, where you get paid in the upvote of your post via Steem, the cryptocurrency. You can also find our Bitcoin address in the description and the comments below, as well as on the screen for you to scan if you please. And don't forget to come on down to Anarchapulco in Acapulco, Mexico in February, one of the best events of the year, and you can save money on your tickets by typing in promo code WAM. That's WAM. We'll leave the link below for you, and until next time, don't forget to subscribe. This is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change.
Bye.